Hey, what's going on, everybody on YouTube? Today we're going to check out some more of my epic stuff, and what I have added to it this time around is the Holocron Lamp, exclusively available at Target as part of their Galaxy's Edge merchandise partnership. I found this on clearance, and we're going to open this up and take a look and see what it actually can do.
Behold, my stuff.
Okay, so while I was at Target, I was actually looking for some of the new Motu figures that have just come out that way, particularly the Deluxe Battle Armor He-Man, because it contains some items that I want. However, I was unsuccessful, and I did not find them. But while I was there, I walked by the clearance section, and I did get an eye on this. This is the Holocron Lamp, which was part of the exclusive series of Galaxy's Edge inspired items they released, and it contains the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Black Spire seal on it. This is a 6x6x6 lamp. It is not designed to be a prop, but it certainly adds a very interesting amount of mood light to any Star Wars room. As my room has continued to grow as a Star Wars themed movie room, this little guy is going to be a good little component. It comes with a try me button, and you see it does illuminate a little bit, but not overwhelming. You can see back here, it does illuminate a decent amount, and I'm sure in a dark room it would look pretty good. But more than anything, I was just excited because it was on clearance. I got it for less than $10. So we're going to open this up and take a look at it. Before we go, we can see already that it says it has a 15-minute auto turn-off thing. So it's a mood lamp, and it is designed specifically for mood lighting. It's not designed to actually light a room so you can actually see what you're doing. So we assume that if you're putting this in a room, you have other lights. It does come with all the necessary logos. It does have a very industrial Galaxy's Edge packaging theme, which does match the items from Galaxy's Edge that I have seen while I was there. It has the transported from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Trading Post sticker on it, which is pretty cool. Gives the dimensions. It says press the switch 1 time to switch the lamp on. Press the switch 2 times. Lamp will go into timer mode, signified with a double flash of light. Press the switch 3 times. This will switch the lamp off. Lamp can be powered by either USB or battery, USB not included. That's a lot of fun. That's not too dissimilar from this little item that I got for Christmas from a coworker, which is a both USB powered and battery powered light up acrylic display. I broke the USB probably immediately because it's not the most sturdy made item, but it did come with a USB and a remote, which is pretty cool. But it's very easy to keep into light mode. It comes in different lights and things like that. So this is probably very similar to that. So I'm going to grab my trusty scissors, and we're going to open this and see what this is looking like here. I am a fan of the holocrons. We don't really see them at all in the films, but fans of the games and the comic books and the cartoons will be familiar with holocrons. So if you're not familiar with a holocron, I suggest you do some research and look into them. It's a very, very interesting piece of Star Wars lore. Comes with an instruction manual, which basically tells you what you're doing with it. Black and white, not too earth-shattering. I love little things like these. These come in really handy for dioramas and things like that, so I tend to save these little platforms. So we're probably going to hold on to that. And we're going to remove this. Now I can see already this has, the button is hot glued into it. So we're going to take a minute and look at this. Now does this disconnect? Oh, it does. Okay, so so there is a port down here. You can plug this switch in. That's kind of cool. Now there's a button on the bottom, so if we push it, it goes through a series of what have you. It looks like there is a open or close and put the battery thing in. So let me take a look at my screwdriver over here. Let's open this up and see what kind of batteries it takes, and potentially we're going to add some batteries. Hey look, you can see my recording device in the reflection of my television behind me. That's kind of fun. I thought about putting some Star Wars on in the background, but I actually have Star Wars running upstairs right now. It's Empire Strikes Back running upstairs. Looks like it says it's AA, which is good because I actually have AA. I may pause this really quick, go upstairs and grab them and come back down. Yep, it takes 3 AAs. So you can see it has the Star Wars with the trademark for Lucasfilm Limited. So before we go and put batteries in it, it's 6x6x6, which is huge. It is completely flat, so even though it looks like the gold symbols are embossed on it, it's not. It's 100% flat. You can add that with styrene or foam if that was something you wanted to do, or print some acrylic to size and just put it directly over this and make it look pretty cool. But honestly, I think it's a lamp. It's mood lighting, so it's just really supposed to look like that. This will look pretty cool next to my big Sith holocron, which contained the Book of the Sith. I was actually kind of bummed that they did the Book of the Sith as a holocron, and then the Jedi path wasn't a Jedi holocron that spit out the book. I kind of was hoping for that. So this kind of replaces that. So I'm going to go upstairs really quick. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to grab some batteries, and we're going to see what this thing looks like when it lights up on its own power. So what happens when you use a flat head on a Phillips head? Cannot kill a family. Battery is found in me. Wrong kind of battery. All right, we now have battery. I'm going to turn this light off and so it gets a little darker. There you go. We've got batteries. Now it's in turn off mode. Trying to figure out how and then you turn it off. So this is on. So this is really cool. It's very luminescent. I can compare it to my little light up Death Star plans. I chose to light the Death Star plans up like they appear in episode 3, because that's the only time I really ever remember seeing miniature Death Star plans. So I thought that was kind of cool. I always thought about having those would be kind of a cool prop if I did like a Dooku or something, but this is pretty cool. So you have that light up lamp. It's very nice. Put over to Yoda's face. Yoda, look, holocron. So this is pretty cool. So like I said, it was in clearance on Target for a little less than $10. I honestly couldn't see spending more than that. It's a cool little item. You could make this. I mean, anybody who's built a Tesseract could make this. It's a simple matter of just cutting out the patterns or getting an acrylic set of patterns, maybe making it a little smaller, but I'm 6'2", so a little less than 6'2". So 6x6 doesn't look too big in my hand. Now, if I put the thing all the way up here, it's like, whoa, it's very large. But in reality, if I hold it even keel with me, you can see it's really not that big. It does seem appropriately sized in my hands. But I would say this isn't a 1-to-1. I'd say this is like a 1.5-to-1. I think that it would be more like the size of a Hellraiser box in real life. But it's a really cool item. And to be honest with you, as a lamp, it would look really, really cool in my cubes. So if we can maybe tilt this. Let's see if I can tilt this down ever so slightly. You can see I've got the cubes all down here. So if I were to throw that in there, you know, and you're running Star Wars or whatever, and you got this in the background or something, it kind of looks cool. So I think it's a worthy item to have as a mood lamp. But in reality, it's not going to do much as a lamp. So especially with that heavy blue tint. So the other thing that's really noticeable is when it shines through, the gold paint gets very ungold. So it's a very thin coating of that. And you can even see where there's glue in certain spots. So it's just kind of a cool little item. It's a cool lamp. It looks cool. Like I said, I do have a holocron section where I have the Sith Wayfinder, these items essentially. Let me just move this. I do like the switch though. I think I'm gonna keep the switch. So I have like the Uncle Milton Sith holocron. I have a custom Wayfinder, which to me was a holocron. I don't care, you call it a Wayfinder. It was like that to me. That was holocron. And then I have the big holocron, which is the Book of the Sith. So having a little, I kind of have a holocron theme going. So this adds really well. If this is the only holocron you can have, then I think it might be weird and maybe it's not for you. But I definitely recommend this item, if you're a Star Wars fan and you just want a cool mood lighting thing, especially if you have little things to display it on. I happen to have one of these little tables and I really never know what to do with it. And if you just kind of put the item on it and use it to display itself, it's kind of cool. So I think there's a lot of things you could do with this, and especially if you have it on the 15-minute timer. I definitely think there's some benefit to this. So if you have the means and you come by Target, and you happen to see the item on sale in the clearance section for $10 or less, then I would pick it up. If you see it in Target and it's on clearance, you're probably going to see it in like your TJ Maxx, your Marshalls, Home Goods, places like that. Also, the 3PO head that I was referring to, this beautiful guy, which I showed in another video, which is currently part of my Babu Frick setup. This I just saw in a TJ Maxx, I believe it was. It was either TJ Maxx or Marshalls. I'm not sure which, but I saw one of these on sale for $15. Totally worth it if you come across that. So there have been some cool items that I definitely recommend. Don't fall. Don't do it. So there have been some cool items that I definitely recommend. It's just one of those things where it's going to depend on what your room setup is like. At the moment, my room setup is a little weird because I haven't quite figured out my theme. So as you can see, I have my Darth Vader here. I have my Yoda here. I've got BB-8 down there. I've got some Baby Yodas, Baby Yoda in a pram. I've got Vader's helmet. I've got Kylo's helmet. A bag. The bag I'll actually show you. The bag you might find cool. That's something that I just recently finished. This is a vintage World War II bag. British supply bag. So the weathering is all real. It's from World War II. So I didn't have to weather it one bit, which is very cool. And this little piece right here, you'll notice from The Mandalorian, that is from 1138 Replica Props. So that is a company that used to be called Star Wars Props. They make fantastic books. Really, really high-end Sacred Jedi text. Now, being a bookmaker myself, I, of course, am building my own. But were I not a bookmaker, that is the only place I would get a replica set of books. They are phenomenal, and I'm not even sure mine are going to come out as good as his. But I highly recommend 1138 Props. They're really cool. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Facebook. So if you need a badge or some really cool metal ranking badges, I highly recommend them. This one I got is magnetic, so it has a magnetic badge, but they also come with Chicago screws so that you could attach it permanently to an item like this, and I probably will attach this permanently. So I definitely recommend the bag. A lot of people have been asking me about my Baby Yoda stuff, and particularly this Baby Yoda. Now, this is going to look weird because he's wearing a new coat, and this is not his coat. This is a new coat that I picked up from a new grogu that is available in Target for Valentine's Day. It was a full plushie, and I decided, I'm actually just going to get him out of this. I decided to pick up that plushie because I wanted this coat. As you can see, this coat's material is exactly what I wanted, and it's a little bigger for a little taller Grogu. It's longer than I want, so I may hem this down a little bit, but this is what's going to go on my new Grogu that I'm making. That's going to be a little closer to scale to the Sideshow Collectibles one. My friend has one. I'm going to take a look at it, and I'm going to see what I can do to customize a new face for the Mattel Grogu. Now, this Yoda has a custom face. I know I call him Yoda. I'm always going to call him Baby Yoda. I know his name is Grogu, and I know they officially call him Grogu or the Child, but he's freaking baby. I got Yoda, so I got Baby Yoda. I'm going to call him Baby Yoda. You don't like it? Eat a dick. But Baby Yoda has all the posability and things that I had mentioned with my previous build. I did a custom face, and that sculpt is just this right here. It's just foam clay over the existing mouth, painted it black, and painted some teeth. And I got a lot of people messaging me, and I mean a lot of people messaging me about doing a custom sculpt for them. What is all over me? Jesus. They were like, hey, will you sculpt mine that way? Will you sculpt mine that way? I love to offer that to people because it's such an easy sculpt to do. But the truth of the matter is, I don't have a ton of time. So here's what I'm kind of looking to do. I want to sculpt a definitive face upgrade. mold it, and then be able to do foam clay presses and just slap it on a Yoda so that it's reproducible. So if I can get a reproducible version of a mold of the face so that everybody can have a smiling, happy Grogu and make him look a little bit more like real Grogu, which means I want to make some adjustments to the upper lip, the chin, and the jowls area. If I can do that and mold it, like I said, my friend's bringing over a sideshow so I can see a three-dimensional object of what I'm looking at and then try to match that in foam clay. I'll mold that and add it to the face. And if I could slap some of those upgrades onto a face, then we're in business, and I'll happily do some upgrades for people's Grogus. I have also gone through with Molotochrome and airbrushed the Mythosaur pendant, excuse me. That's the color it originally was. That's the color I made it with my airbrush. So Mythosaur pendant came with 7-inch Grogu that is currently sitting in my pram. So this little guy now carries that pendant. And if I want to, I can shorten that up and make it sit higher on him. And it's kind of disappointing he didn't wear it at all in season 2. I think everybody was waiting for that, and they were a little bummed they didn't see it. But I would have liked to have seen it. But either way, this coat, you saw me upgrade in a previous video, and I really like it. But I wasn't thrilled in the end. I wanted something that was more high-end. This isn't wide enough. This isn't thick enough. And it didn't have the stitches on the side. In the end, it was just too flimsy. And so, even though I sculpted this face and repainted this, I ended up giving a shot at new clothes. And you guys saw that. You saw the new clothes. Now, the only problem I had with this guy was it was too short. And you can see that it's too short. So I was going to do a video remaking this cloak with just tape and parts like that. I may still do that. And this was salvaged from the collar that comes with your Mattel Grogu. And it just comes out a little wider. I changed the way it sits. So it's a little wider and it looks a little better. But in the end, the fabric I chose was too dark. And it was pants that I ripped. So I was like, I'm going to try and do this with my pants. But I like the thickness of it. So I was dead set on just making a custom coat completely from scratch. And this is still with all the mods. So this has all the mods and everything. The internal armature so that his arms are completely posable. So the internal armature is still there. The extra feetsies are still there. I am going to make some new feetsies that are going to go on my other Mattels because I'm actually going to make an entire internal body that's bendable and posable and will not have any of the plush body. So I'm just going to take the hands and head from the Mattels and move them to a new item. And that's where that new coat comes in. Honestly, in cost of supplies and parts, it would have cost me at least $20 to make this anyway. So just buying the stupid thing for $20 and taking its coat, worth it. So as you can see, it's much bigger than the little Mattel guy. But I am fairly confident that I can make this work the way I want. So we're going to go ahead and try to use this to make a completely custom Grogu. And this custom coat was cool, but we're going to stick with this coat. And we're going to stick with the darker green head and try to sculpt onto this. So I'm going to see if I can bulk out this Grogu and make him a better Grogu. So once I can actually see a sideshow, which is the same scale as what they used, it's going to allow me to see if I can do it or not. So I definitely recommend if you see Grogu with great jackets, pick them up because you never know when salvaging a jacket will come in handy. It will save you a lot of money versus trying to make one. But like I said, the sculpted face, I am going to start offering that as a service to upgrade your own Mattel Grogu. But I need to get my hands on a sideshow so that I can compare and do some measurements and actually see what I need to upgrade. Like the ears are way too small on the Mattel, but I don't know what I can do about that right now. I thought about heat bending them down and doing some different things. So I need to see that first. And then I'll be able to make a better assessment of what we can do to improve our little Grogus. So there are still more Grogu videos coming, even though Mandalorian's done. Don't think it's over. I did spend a lot of time finishing up my life-size one-to-one Yoda here because gotta have your one-to-one. And then of course, I am still on the hunt for Star Wars items. So whether or not I'm going to do a Star Wars diorama, I don't know. If you are into that kind of thing, I highly recommend checking out my friend Brandon Berry. I believe his name is Brandon Berry 8 on Instagram. He is also the head of featured presentations. If you are a fan of the Knights of Samaria, you know who he is because he did the giant cabin display in probably a 3/4 scale replica, but it was for life-size photographs and things like that, which is well documented on the Knights of Samaria. He's done many, many things. Ninja Turtles, full-size basement, Sesame Street, full-size for the puppets and everything. Really great company, but he also does figure dioramas, and they're really great. So if you haven't seen that, I recommend checking his out. And his Star Wars figure dios are so good, I don't even really want to do one, because I just like looking at his. But I will be doing some more Motu stuff coming up as I get my hands on some of this Motu junk, now that it's not exclusively Walmart's. Target's getting some stuff, so I will be messing with some of that. I have some other Ninja Turtle figures. I will be doing a diorama for Casey Jones versus Raphael, which I've always wanted to do. It was my favorite scene. I will be doing some more Grogu, and I will be doing some mods to my Vader over here. Vader is going to get, this mannequin is going to get some arm upgrades. So instead of standing like this, he's going to stand like this, actually, with and hold his belt and get more of a traditional, more ominous looking Vader. And I think that would be a lot cooler for my display. And then we're going to make some displays over in the Knights of Samaria for Ash versus the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. We're going to build some mannequins and throw those costumes on those mannequins using completely from scratch builds with mostly PVC and foam and paper stuffing and things like that, duct tape and all that crap. So for about $25, you can get a mannequin. And we're going to be doing those builds in the KOS. I did want to mention that I started seeing some people post some videos upgrading their TOTS Necronomicons using the methods from the KOS that myself, Ryan, Brett, and all these guys have been lending to everybody. The page weathering is mostly my method that I've been using for years that I put out. And I saw somebody finally picked it up and did another tutorial video letting people know this method does work and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I thought that was really cool. He mentioned how he found the page, and through that video, other members have come into the page and they've gotten some help, and some of these people are really cool. So if you're not over at the Knights of Samaria and you are an Evil Dead fan, I really recommend you go over there and link up with us, because we are doing a lot of cool stuff over there, not only in our page, but in our sister page, the Ghost Speeders. What is going on with this? We do a lot of cool stuff over there. Ultra Effects Studios has debuted a lot of their products over there and their props exclusively sometimes for us. And they are some of the best 3D modelers and prop makers and restorers out there. I'll sing Roger's praises all day. Obviously, Brett from Brett's Groovy Chainsaws is over there. He's one of my admins, so he's over there with me on the KOS. And then he's got pretty much a rough shot with Ultra Effects on our sister page for Ghost Speeders. There, he documented a full foam clay resculpting of the TOTS cover to make it more accurate. So it goes to show that you don't need to have these super professional skills to do some of this. You just need time and effort and good research. And that's kind of the point of the pages. So if you are a builder and you like channels like Odin Makes, which is really great, and some of these other channels where people show you how to build, but you don't have airbrushes and you're not good with clay and you don't have time to bake Sculpey and you don't know what the fuck Warbler is, and you're just like, man, I need some cheap-ass crap where I can just do some cool shit. That's what we're here for, man. And even if you're not into Evil Dead, you might learn some cool tricks and techniques that will benefit you in your own fandom, you know? So, you also may learn, floating around the internet are some really cool items that may help fill your prop needs, whether they happen to be Star Wars related or not. One of the cool things about this item, for example, which I just turned off, is that it came with a bunch of other acrylics. So it came with a Mandalorian, it came with a Grogu, it also came with a very, very cool Millennium Falcon. So if I wanted to change the display for anything, I could. And if you find the need of a hologram, this is an item where you can get a custom acrylic cut, make it fit, and then you got yourself a hologram. Might benefit you in your fandom in other ways. If you're trying to project, you know, ghosts or things like that, and you think that that's something that would be cool or helpful, or something you need for a diorama. Maybe you want to take this, put it in the middle of a table, and do the entire Endor meeting that they did in ROTJ. I mean, that's all stuff that you can do. But I always say, if you find a page that's really cool, gravitate to it, latch onto it, because it's, you never know, you might learn something that you could take somewhere else. I follow a lot of tabletop gamer pages, not so much because I'm a tabletopper, I'm not, but they teach me cool techniques that I can translate into prop making. Yoda here got done purely based off what I learned about painting action figures. And I was like, well, it's just bigger, how hard could it be? And I just tackled it. You know, this thing was sitting on a shelf for a year I just didn't do anything. And I was like, all right, let's build the frame and let's paint the guy. And it just worked out. So, you know, a lot of this stuff is just having the guts to take the plunge and making sure you're not using such expensive materials that you can't undo it. This is just acrylic, so if it sucked and I didn't like it, paint thinner, scrape it all off, start over. So that's really what it's about. Same thing with the custom Grogu jacket. I just literally cut up my ripped pants and started saying, like, I wonder if this could make a jacket. And I just used the tape to see if I could make a clothes. And if it worked, then in theory, I could go in and hand stitch it and make it more permanent, but it's still good test. So what I'm trying to say is follow a lot of different stuff, because you never know who's got techniques that you could use to gravitate to yours. My book aging techniques, they look great for Necronomicons, but they also help me take the guts of the Jedi path and create an ancient looking version of the Jedi path. And so in reality, this book, which is about this thick in Barnes & Noble, ripped the guts out, used the same aging technique, put it in a custom cover, and lo and behold, we've got a sacred Jedi text. And it looks like a great display, but it's also a functional book. It's got content in it. So I can read the Jedi path in a sacred Jedi text. It seems very appropriate. And so these are the things, like I say, they're not isolated specifically to Evil Dead or to Masters of the Universe or Star Wars. These techniques that for prop building apply across the board. So look at all these different people who build, look at all these different pages, even things like metalwork, even the way Brett does his chainsaws. I've learned how to weather props differently that are not chainsaw related from some of what he does with his chainsaws. And other talented artists like Chris Pollock, who, you know, do these great things, they're definitely worth following. One site I will always plug, one person I'll always plug to follow if you don't follow them, is the CB Studio. If you don't know who the CB Studios is, it's an Australian company. They've done a lot of high-end replicas of Lordy costumes, some really great Thor and Oakenshield and Lord of the Rings stuff, some awesome Star Wars stuff, tons of great Evil Dead stuff, lots of really cool props restorations, really great builder, using a lot of great Barnes products out of Australia. If you don't know who that is, they do a lot of supplying for a lot of the film and prop companies that work down in that quarter of the world. And so I get a lot of help from the gentleman there. His name's Kurt, and he's great. So the CB Studios on Instagram, very, very, very cool. And they also have a YouTube channel as well. Check that out. But Instagram is where you want to find these CB Studios, because they're awesome. And, you know, like I said, there's a lot of great things out there. I've recently started looking at Twitch to see if I can find some builders. I haven't found a ton, so I've decided that I'm going to start documenting my long builds on Twitch. So when I sit down and work on this idiot, I'm just going to set this camera up, broadcast, and just do a Twitch stream. If anybody watch it, I don't care. I don't know if they are that. My philosophy is if I'm working on the damn thing anyway, I might as well stream it. I am not setting up the multiple screens where I see the chat, and I do... that's not the point. I'm just going to record the whole thing. Maybe I'll edit it down and throw a shortened clip up on YouTube or a time-lapse video on YouTube. But it's just a nice way to host those long build videos, because it'll be directly on Twitch and I can download it later. So I'm going to try to use it as a means to assist the prop making community. And I don't know if there's going to be a benefit to it or not, but we're going to try. So if you're interested in that, it is twitch.com. What is it? Twitch.tv/Joey Xander. I don't know. It's JoeyXander. It was the name I used on the Taz show. So if you guys are fans of wrestling and you've seen the videos in this page and my Google page, which is Al Berardi, I hosted a lot of the videos from Hump Day promos in the Taz show. And I was your boy, Joey Xander. So that was a lot of fun, and it kind of got me a bit of a following in the wrestling community for some of this crap that I do. And a lot of the people who stick around on this page remember me from that. So that's the name that's over on Twitch. Why? I don't know. Because Gothman was taken, so I was like, screw it, I'll do Joey Xander. But I'm going to be doing some long builds there. Hopefully the mannequins, a lot of the big, long, Evil Dead builds I will do, and hopefully a lot of the Knights will use the Knights Discord to host in Twitch so that people can talk while we're doing the long builds. In 2 weeks, I have a potential build that I might be doing, so I may do a long stream on that. If not, the next big build I have coming up is the Evil Dead Clock, and I'll be doing that with Brandon from Featured Presentations, and that will be hosted on the Twitch stream. So we will be doing that, and that will be on the Twitch channel, and we will be letting people know when that's happening. So I'm going to see if I can get that done in February. So that's going to be the next big build we're doing for a prop, and it should be a lot of fun. So anyway, Baby Yoda stuff is still coming, so I haven't given up on Grogu yet. We're going to be building a new one. We're going to be sculpting a better face out of foam clay so that I can attach it to the existing Mattel faces. Instead of just selling brand new heads, I'm just going to try to mod existing Grogus so that you guys can send me your Grogu and get the upgrade if you want. And like I said, the bigger coat, we're going to see if that pans out. If it doesn't, waste of $20. What are you going to do? But I'm really excited to try that. I have some Masters of the Universe stuff coming down the pipe. Obviously, the Keldor I'm really big on. And we're going to be setting up that big Castle Grayskull battle scene from that comic, He-Man Masters of the Multiverse, which I was such a fan of. And that's what I've been collecting figures and customizing them for leading up to this, so that I can make that diorama. And so I'm going to be showing you some of the customization aspects with the Motu figures, particularly the Origins line. But there is going to be some 2000X guys slipped in there, and maybe we're going to need to slip in a Classics figure as well. But should be a fun build, and should come out to be a really fun diorama when we're done. And as for Holocron, the Holocron Lamp for $10, it's totally flat. There's no embossment of any kind. It's just a nice mood lamp. I like it, and I would recommend it. Part of the Galaxy's Edge Trading Post exclusive items. None of the other items really tickled my fancy except for this one, but I think it's indicative that we're going to be seeing more Galaxy's Edge prop-based items being released into the world, particularly with the 2020 shutdown and parks being in such dire straits right now. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of these items come out. In particular, I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more of the legacy lightsabers and things like that, which are being sold in Disney Springs and outside of Disney now, start to circulate around so they can make their money back, because their merchandising is where they really make all their money in Galaxy's Edge. So, in addition to like some of these other items that we have here, like the Sabacc dice, for example, the Sabacc game, which comes with, the dice and everything. The legacy sabers like the Rayflex, or the I don't even know how you want to word it. The Fix Flex, I think they call it sometimes. So this needs some batteries too, I think. But these are all different items that I picked up at Galaxy's Edge. So seeing some of these things come through, super beneficial. So yeah, if you have an opportunity to pick one of these up on clearance, do so. It's a nice little addition to your Star Wars room. If you have no other Holocrons, maybe it's a pass. But you can power this thing. If you look at the lighting, you can actually see where the LEDs are around this battery pack. It's 3 AA's. It has a little port down here to put the touch switch, which is kind of cool. And I may actually rip that out and salvage it for something else later. But it also has the micro USB connection so that you can power this thing via USB and actually plug it in if you want. It does not plug into the wall, so it does not have AC/DC power connection. But I definitely recommend picking it up for as cheap as I got it. If you get the chance, it'll make a cool display. Other than that, thanks for hanging out and listening to all the babble. Have a really good day, and keep building, and keep loving life, man.